That was in 1949. The communists took over Shanghai. They basically said, China for the Chinese. We're going to look out for our own people. And you people, even though you were born here, you are to leave. And so everybody started leaving and going to every part of the world that they could. So my family, I had a lot of aunts and cousins, and everybody just kind of broke up. I had one aunt and uncle that went to Russia. I had one aunt and uncle and cousins that migrated to the Philippines before they actually came to the United States. And then one aunt married an American serviceman, so she went straight to the United States. And then my mother, my grandmother, and I had to go to Brazil. But we waited a long time to actually be able to go to Brazil. The quota was so long to come to the United States. I mean, we wanted to come to the United States, but it was just, there were too many people signed up to go. So they said, you don't have the time to sit in China and wait. Life was very, very difficult there. During the communist takeover, there was some bombings, and my mother would hide me under the bed. The sirens would go on at night or during the day even, and you had to put black curtains over your windows, and then she would hide me under the bed, and you have to lie there for hours until the sirens came on again and said that everything is okay. And then, it was it was a very scary time, because when the communists took over Shanghai, they went around and they picked up everybody that they didn't think was good for society. So people that were criminals, either drug pushers or drug addicts or people involved in other things that weren't legal, they were all gathered up and they were taken to the Shanghai airport, and there were 20,000 of them that were executed. Boom, because they said, we're going to clean up the society. We don't have time to rehabilitate people. Sometimes I'd be walking down the street with my mom, and she would say, don't look, and I was probably about 7 years old then, and of course you'd look,
Yeah.
And there would be like this sheet on the ground, and there would be this head, somebody's head that they chopped off on the sheet, and then they would write what crimes he was executed for. So it was a scary time. It was a scary time. So the only place that we could actually get out now and get there, was Brazil. And then they said, oh, you'll just be there for a few months and you'd be able to go to the United States. And it actually turned out to be 7 years in Brazil. And they didn't let us take anything. I mean, you had to leave with nothing. At the train station, we went from Shanghai to Hong Kong and then got a ship. And at the train station, they would actually rip up the linings of your coats, and they rip up the lining of your suitcase just to make sure you're not taking valuables and, jewelry or anything like that. You had to leave, and you had to just leave your whole life behind. We lived 2 years in Rio in very, very bad conditions. We lived in a room. There was no running water. There was no electricity. There was water rationing, so my grandmother and I would stand there with buckets, and when they pumped the water, and that would be the water that we had to use for like the next week. And just as I really began to love it there, they said, okay, you can go to America. If you have to do it, if you have a hard life, then, you do it, and kind of pushes you a little bit to do better.